You know what, right? So Sterling, yeah, is the highest goal scorer under Pep at City. I think he's one of the highest goal scorers, I think, ever under Pep. Yeah.
See.
And it's true, when Pep arrived, when we first signed him, there's talk that he might have actually been signed for Pep, yeah, because it was like he had a year under Pellegrini.
Yeah,
and
he must have known Pep was arriving, yeah.
It wasn't good for Pellegrini because Pellegrini played like two-touch football and Pep was like, that wasn't Sterling. And then he had that, he didn't have a bad World Cup, but the media said he had the worst World Cup and they put it all on him. Pep came in and straight away, like, rang him straight away, like, yeah, you're an important part of the team. And Pep's improved him. Like, Pep taught Sterling how to go back to basics. And the thing with Raheem Sterling is, yeah, and this is what annoys me with City fans when they get at him. Will you put him through one-on-one? He won't score. Yeah, he won't know whether he's going to shoot, pass around the keeper.
He's a high volume of chances. Facts.
He misses chances. But I always say it's like that brethren that you've had for 20 years, yeah, and you accepted 20 years ago that they're shit with money, right? And then all of a sudden, 20 years later, you want to start moaning about them being shit with money. It's like, bro, you accepted them 20 years ago. You can't.
You know what you see is what you get. You know he's going to run like that and miss tap-ins and yeah.
So that's the thing with him. The thing is with him, yeah, is that his qualities are, firstly, his pace, but that's not massive. Secondly, is his ability to listen to managers and put it into practice.
Yep. If you can't do it under Pep, you're in trouble.
His work ethic, yeah, is just undeniable. His fitness is top tier. And also, I actually think, I've been thinking about this recently, his passing is underrated because if I go back and think about some of the 1-2s he used to play with David Silva, yeah, you can't.
And his movement's quality as well.
Yeah, and now that's the key, his movement. What Pep taught him, and this is where I'm not quite getting the Chelsea thing yet, but I'm sure Thomas Tuchel knows what he's doing, is it's undeniable. I've looked at the numbers. His best seasons, by far and away, goals and assists, are when he was playing alongside Aguero. Since Aguero's left, his numbers have dropped. And that
I wouldn't have known that, you know. That's
bro, mad. And I'm not just meaning numbers
based on the media narrative. Wow.
It's based on his. I'm not just meaning numbers. I'm meaning per 90 numbers. Yeah, that they are drastically down. And that's why I don't quite get the Chelsea thing unless they get a number 9. Because
I'm so happy you said that. I still think they need a number 9 as well. I think Sterling's quality.
It don't make sense.
It's gonna be the same. It's not going to be the same thing with Lukaku. I think Sterling will cook. He fits the system. I think sometimes you've got to judge players at their best, but at their worst. And I think at Sterling's worst, he will fit into what Chelsea are doing. It's stupid for me to say he's not a goal scorer because he's got that, and he's definitely got movement. But it's almost indirectly the same thing with Lukaku in that Chelsea just need a gunman, one chance, one finish. Sterling, as you just said, isn't exactly that. So I think he's going to cook, but I do think there's going to be reinforcements there.
You know what? The thing is, yeah, we just spoke about his movement. His movement is sensational, but what Pep taught him is when you've got, like, say, when you're playing for a team like City and you've got a player like Aguero, where the defenders are watching Aguero's every move, right? And then you've got other runners, right? What Raheem Sterling was so good at is if everyone's making runs, he'll just notice where there's space and drop back, right? And get the
very
tackle.
Underrated
because
quality of
you need the 9 making them runs to do that. So what I would say is Raheem Sterling is he's top 10 goal scorers for Man City of all time. He is maybe a legend, you could say, because without all of his goals and assists,
what, City legend, or I think he's a Prem legend. But
he's a Prem legend. It's a hard one with define legend, I guess. But you take away his goals and assists, do we win all the Premier Leagues we did? No, not a chance in hell, right? So he's contributed to that massively. What I would say is, if Chelsea want, let's say Chelsea agreed to pay him about 310, 320, because they need to pay him more than he's on now. To get the 320 Sterling, you need a number 9. Otherwise, you're going to get a baller, but you're probably going to be paying him a bit too much money for what you're going to get out of him. And it is a good signing, but they need more to make it a good signing.
Would you say you're shocked that Sterling kept it moving or going to Chelsea? Because
when I find out what the wage is, I'll tell you.
Huh?
When I find out the wage, I'll tell you.
To be fair, I can't blame him, man.
No, he's got a year left. He's got a year left. I always said all season, I've been saying, I predicted what he would do is wait till the end of next season and join you, man, on a free.
Reckon. Nah, man, we can't
Well,
offer him. I think if Arsenal called him, he'd listen, but we can't offer him certified stuff. It's like if Conte called him, just Conte, not Spurs. I think he would listen to Conte, but then Spurs can't offer him anything. I think that's where Chelsea meet in the middle. You get the London. They did win the Champions League. They have won the Premier League.
Yeah. That's
more
true.
recent.
They are. That's
yeah,
true.
I admittedly thought just the way he used to talk, I felt definitely he wouldn't leave this season. I thought he might run it down and go somewhere for free. Because he just speaks about playing abroad, and obviously he's 27, 28, so he could still do that. But it is what it is. I've kind of been violating this guy. So shout out Ben. He's asked a question in relation to what we're doing. How you doing, Deluded? Do you both feel with the signing of Jesus? Do you both feel the signing of Jesus would be more able to give him true service that he would need if we don't get a good number 8 to be able to create more gaps? I'm not too sure, man. I'm going to leave that to you as someone who knows about Jesus, man. I just think obviously naturally he's going to have attacks, bro, because he's not got them attackers that we ain't got the attackers that you, man, have. So
let me just read this again.
Would he be more able to give him true service that he would need?
Give who?
I don't know. I think Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but does he think we need a better service from behind Gabriel Jesus to feed him passes in behind? I don't know. I think if that's it, then obviously, yeah.
So one thing, if we talk on Jesus now, one thing that I've said to a few Arsenal content creators and fans when speaking on Jesus is, because I always get asked, can he be the number 9? Yeah. And it's such a hard question because at City, right, so we presume when he arrives at Arsenal, Arteta's already told him he's going to be the number 9. So the confidence is there. He's going to start straight away playing the number 9 role. So the only time I can compare that to Manchester City is when he first arrived at Manchester City. And he arrived and instantly was put in the team. Aguero was dropped and he played through the middle and he scored 9 in 11, right? So a confident Gabriel Jesus playing through the middle scored 9 in 11. After that, he got an injury for a period. Then after that, Aguero was back in the team and he was always kind of playing second fiddle or playing wide right. Now, so that is the only way I can answer that. Can he be clinical sometimes? But you can't judge a striker when their confidence is low because
you're not going to.
And they're not getting a run of games. The most he'd ever get is probably like 4 games on the bounce. Then he'll be like he'll hold bench or whatever. So it's hard to judge a striker based on that. What you will get is a player wherever he plays that. Firstly, I think he is one of the best players in the Premier League at leading the press from the front.
Something Arteta needs, it loves,
unbelievable.
And wants and needs in our team.
Second thing is he knows how to play systems. 100%. He's been playing under Pep. Thirdly, is he's definitely got a winning mentality. He's won 4 Premier Leagues.
Not even, but without even the Premier League, you just look at the man's life and his drive to become a footballer, as you know more than me. Them scenes about how he 2014 World Cup or whatever, he's painting the streets. Now look at him. So I don't doubt that. My only problem is for that. I just feel Arsenal fans, we always do this thing. Whether it's Odegaard, whether it's whoever, we just think they're going to come in as a magic man and their mentality is going to rub off on everyone. Everyone has to buy into that, really. Yeah. And sometimes
and that's what Arteta's been pushing from the start, right? That's what Arteta's been pushing from the start. Everyone needs to be on the same page.
You're right on that, facts.
Now, the one thing when people say, will he get this number of goals or whatever, what I can say is, will he score 15 league goals? I don't know.
And
Do I believe that Arsenal will score more goals because of Jesus? Yes, I do.
100%.
His runs will leave space everywhere. That's what he does. He creates a madness on
and how he pulled above. I can't lie to you. I'm happy about the signing of Jesus. He pulls into wide areas well. Link up play. I think that will aid Saka and Odegaard, particularly on the right hand side. As you said, you speak to his Brazil manager or Pep. They speak about the system and things like that. He's only 25. Listen, if Arsenal are not doing certain things and he's able to score goals, then hopefully we can get into a scenario where there may or may not be some resale value. In the goals thing is a techie one because on one hand, I feel, you're never going to be the main man. He had to adapt his game to the number of players at City. So on one hand, I think yes. But on the other hand, I think I can only go off what you have in it. I'm only going off hypotheticals. If I look at it kind of harshly, I know he's not Lacazette, but Lacazette could kind of do these things that Jesus could do to a different level. But the problem with goals, we've almost kind of bought the same sort of guy. If I look at it on a laser view. So that's the area that is a concern. Like, I don't really know, bro.
You're not wrong on that. I did think the comparisons to Lacazette are kind of similar.
That's the thing. That's the thing, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just think, you know what, I think he's one. I'm gonna give him the luxury of, obviously, you can be a main man at Arsenal. You was a main man at City, but you get it. There's less stars around. You got a point to prove. You've got a World Cup coming in. You've got your guy Arteta who knows you and all these things. So I'm kind of moving away from Jesus. I kind of don't need any excuses from Arteta, because I just feel in the last 18 months in particular, or 2 years, even when Aubameyang was scoring, when Lacazette's come in, when Eddie's come into the team, in my 27 years, it's almost unheard of that a striker, I wouldn't say it's necessarily enjoyable at Arsenal, because there's not a bunch of service. You're not being presented with issues. You mentioned low blocks. Arsenal can't break down the low block. So to a degree, Jesus can make any runs he wants. If, to go back to your Sterling example, if Jesus makes a run and no one's intelligent to think, let me pick up on that, we're gonna kind of be in trouble. What is your thoughts on, like, obviously, Jesus in general? You've seen him for a while. He's contributed to your Premier League. Like, how do you feel about seeing him go? All of these things. Are you somewhat sad? What is it?
Yeah, I'm happy that it came now. Yeah, because for a while I feel like some City fans haven't got him, and this season, especially the end of this season, all of a sudden it seemed to click in a lot of City fans just how important he was. I think it's when he, on that one thing, I think he scored 4 goals. It might have been Watford. He scored 4 goals.
As soon as he got linked with Arsenal, he scored 4 goals, and he's
like, oh, it was that weekend. And from that point, it's like all of a sudden City fans started to get him more. And I'm not saying all, there were I'm not saying City fans didn't rate him, but it was never really until that point this season. And then from then, when people say, oh, he's not a starter, if you look at this season, when the season started getting on top for City, he was a regular.
He was in the trenches,
He was a regular. And here's another thing. Twice this season, and I'm pretty certain other seasons, we've had Champions League games before we play Liverpool, right? Start of the season, we had, I think it went Chelsea, PSG, Liverpool. He got dropped against PSG, right? And I said, boom, he's starting against Liverpool. Later in the season, again, when we play Liverpool, he's starting against Liverpool. And it's because, and again, this goes against the goals thing, but when you're playing teams like Liverpool, where you have to be so on point and pressing. There's
no hiding at all.
And Pep every time. It's like, was it some Park for United?
Yeah, big game specialist.
And Pep would do that with Jesus. He trusts him. And when you've got managers like Pep that are trusting a player,
there's got to be something to the lad, isn't it?
I think it took a while for your fan base to warm around to it as well.
Because they were just being lazy and again, like you couldn't speak for all City fans. I think some fans were entertaining it, but it's like they didn't understand what we can get in Jesus, really and truly. A lot of the things, and I think Arsenal fans are a bit weird in that they've just got to give the guy chances. I feel we've got no in between. We almost waffle about the fact that he hasn't got 20 league goals, which there is some value, or we just focus on the fact that he's a system striker. On one hand, I think if you're not scoring goals, you shouldn't be here, but at the same time, you have to judge players when the whole team's not doing well. And you could see how Jesus could fit in. As I said, he pulls out into wide channels, he plays 1-2s. Just by looking at his goals, they're all in the penalty box. So Arteta needs to learn. We need to give the guy service, and he'll score.
But when he arrived, all he looked like to me, that first half season, because he arrived in January, all he looked like to me was like, and he was getting compared to a bit, was Fat Ronaldo, because he just looked like an absolute Ronaldo, poacher. 100%. He looked like a poacher. He didn't look, there was nothing, it wasn't like we were getting no techie Brazilian or nothing. It was like, this guy's just scoring goals he should score. And that's what I say, that if you play him through the middle from the start, none of this nonsense that you men have done before with Lacazette, where you bought him and he hardly played for the first however long, and then by the time he did start playing, Aubameyang was there, and it was like
6 months into his time at Arsenal, bro.
That's what, bro. And his confidence is gone. You can't put a striker on the bench for 6 months after you paid that much for him, and then when you play him, expect him to be a gunman, because you took his straps away when you put him on the bench. He's not a gunman no more.
What do you make of the confidence thing? Sorry to cut you, because obviously I'm not going to be naive. I hope it's all sunshine and rainbows. He plays well every game, but as you know, He's going to be under the microscope. I think Arsenal fans and the media do this thing where we look at, he's got the name, but we look at Jesus to be our savior. There's obviously going to be, there's a bit of tax I have to give because we're not as good as you lot. We don't create like you lot. And obviously there's going to be a certain level of scrutiny, really, if he's not scoring goals. You saw it with Ronaldo didn't score for United in about 2-3 games. Salah was stuck on 20. Kane, was on 17, but they were onto him. What do you make of that? Now, I've got no doubt about him. He's got the mentality, but it's like the scrutiny is going to be crazy.
Nah, it will be hard on him. I'm telling you now. He's come out before and said that he puts pressure on himself. He puts way too much pressure on himself. And I feel this was the first season. Yeah, he's been playing wide for seasons, right? But it was never labelled as that. Whereas this season, it was being labelled from the start of the season that he's playing out wide and they're playing Ferran Torres through the middle, right? And all of a sudden, I feel he was playing better because it was like he don't have that. The minute you're playing as a wide forward as opposed to a number 9, there's less pressure to score.
Yeah, and like you said, he's a system striker, so you can just do your job. It's a bit like how he's playing for Brazil at times, and he went through the 9 and it didn't really work. You're right.
If you start him and he hits the ground running, I think he'll score a lot. I think he could. If that happens, he could score way over 15 league goals.
What would you say is the target for him in the league?
15 league goals.
I'd say 15. I need 15, 20 from you, Jesus, for everything else you do. I just feel Arsenal, there's no way around it. You need a striker. Whatever you're trying to do in the Prem, you need that. Who would you say is the better signing and value for money then between Sterling and Jesus?
Oh, interesting one. Right, before I answer that, I've been saying to a few people, asking people, who's the better signing? Say Chelsea get Rafinha. Let's say Tottenham got Richarlison and you man got Jesus, right? And for me, all day long, maybe I am a little biased, but I'm going with Jesus all day long. I think the reason why Jesus didn't go to Spurs was probably because that front three at Spurs is quite hard to break.
We can offer you a place through the middle. Them man are just, it's like what City got. You're a good player for the squad. You might even force your way into the team and that.
Yeah, but the difference is with Jesus, he can operate at an elite level, right?
Yeah.
With Richarlison and with Rafinha, you don't know that yet. You don't know that yet because they've and you don't know what they're going to be like as well. When I've said this massively on Richarlison in particular, you don't know what them man are going to be like because they're coming from Everton and Leeds, where when they're fit they play, right. When them man are fit in a season where they're trying to get a seat on a plane, if they're fit and they don't start, are they going to be cool with that? And what they're going to do in your dressing room, right?
This is the thing.
So I feel them two are far more risky signings than Jesus.
I think Rafinha's calm because it's Barca. I think Jesus got the platform.
If it's
Richarlison's Conte factor, he's got the Conte factor. And I mean, Richarlison can't be an idiot. Like, I know you bought for 60 million, but if you're not assuming Kulusevski stays out wide, if you don't take Kulusevski's spot every day of the week, Son and Kane are playing. You must know that. Yeah. And you're playing Champions League.
Does he though, or does he actually rate himself that highly? I don't know.
This is one where we wish we knew these players individually and things like that. If I'm honest with you.
As for Sterling, Jesus, at them too, if they get a number 9, maybe Sterling. But if they don't, then Jesus.
Do you know what it is? It's a techie one because I think, and I don't know what this comment is. I don't know if someone misheard me. I didn't say Jesus was not an upgrade on Lacazette. Disclaimer: he's clear of him in all aspects.
Just a similar player.
It's just a similar sort of logic. In that regards, I think where Sterling might look a bit better is that I don't want to say it too many times, but Chelsea are better than us, so naturally it's going to be like that. And I just think Thomas Tuchel is a better manager and coach than Mikel Arteta. I just feel our striker should be our first defender. Ramsdale should be our first attacker. And I just feel when you look at City, exactly. I feel when you look at City, it's almost like it's not that the striker isn't important, but the striker is just icing on top of the cake. The midfield is sorted, the defense is sorted. Even if we got Rafinha and a certain centre midfielder in Telemans, whoever to go with Jesus, I'm not saying I'm not confident with Arteta, but I don't know if you're going to be able to do something on the coaching front to get a tune out of them. So I think that's where Sterling cooks at City. Chelsea. I think Jesus can cook here, but where I'm going against Jesus is we always sign players, and just to me as an ignorant fan on the pitch, it's like we don't understand what we're doing really, and there's a discount with that.
Do you think that Arteta is thinking he's going to play Jesus wide right and then Nketiah through the middle?
I've been saying this on my channel. There's every reality that could happen. You know, if Eddie keeps going how he left last season, or he plays his way into the team, then naturally Jesus should play out wide. And I mean, I'm all for that. There might be a reality, unfortunately, where Saka gets injured, Jesus needs to do a job, Eddie goes through the middle. You need these multifunctional players. Of course, I want to see Jesus play through the middle, be that 15-20 league goal man, be the Brazilian hero that I think he can, because I think there's potential in the lad. I think he's done great at City, and I just think obviously you're dropping off a level in joining us to City, but I think it's now time to shine in your own right. Like you're not necessarily the first player when we thought of City. Realistically, you can't underestimate his team, you know, his attributes across the season. But now it's time for you to be a somewhat leader. And you're 25 years of age. You've got all the Brazilian youths here. Arteta can vouch for you. I think players should be excited about him. But I'm just scared about the service he's going to be given. Because again, there's not too many intelligent players, in my opinion, throughout our squad.
And that, what I just said there about playing Nketiah through the middle is, when I said earlier about, I don't know if he's going to get X number of goals, but I do believe Arsenal will score more goals, is if you've got someone like Jesus, and even if, say, Jesus comes and say he scores, say he ends up playing out wide and scores 11, 12 league goals, because usually he does hit double figures for us, right? The runs he makes is going to leave more space for Nketiah. And by what we saw at the end of the season, Nketiah can be clinical. So,
but this is what I mean about intelligence, bro, because at City, you know, you have to think, if somebody does, like that example you said, a next player has to think, oh, there's space there. I'm not saying Arsenal are not intelligent. Of course, they're professional footballers, but that's where the Arsenal tax comes into it, because I don't think they're, especially when we're playing a low block, I can already see Jesus peeling out to the right-hand side. I only really see him, Odegaard, Saka to a degree, and I'm missing out a couple as really having that somewhat sort of link-up play. The rest are not really on that level for me. But you're right, man.
I don't know, man. Listen, City fans want him to do well. I'm telling you that now. But at the same time, if Arsenal fans start turning on him, City fans are going to be pissed off.
No, you know, Arsenal fans are, man.
He's leaving
you every day.
He's leaving us with City fans kind of wishing him well. It's funny because he's younger, but it's similar to what City do. Is we buy players, and when we buy them, we think we're buying a player with a certain quality that is we're going to want to keep for 10 years. And we buy them thinking, and companies spoke on this before, that when you arrive at Manchester City, you'll get respected and you'll get everything you want in life, right? And everything. And as long as you play well, you will continue and you will stay. And when it comes to the time of you leaving, they will let you go on a free transfer, because they'll be like, listen, that was a long relationship. We've sweated our asset. Our asset has done everything for us. You can go.
A bit like Sterling to a slight degree, yeah.
Bro,